What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Virzi Effect Podcast Show. My name is Paul Virzi, and you guys are listening to episode 553. I don't know what that is since pandemic and since video, but thank you guys for tuning in. I'm just wiping off my screen here. Speaking of video, I actually recorded a TVE, and I want to apologize to you guys. I recorded a TVE, a really good TVE with some good rants, and I forgot even what it was about, but I was ready to go, and I sent it to my great producer, Andrew Themlis, the Greek freak over there in Beverly Hills. And I was excited because it was the day before I was flying out to Europe with my family, to London and to Paris. And I was like, I'm going to give them a good TVE, and then I'll come home and do one. And guess what, everybody? I hit this little mute button here. There's a button here on the side, and it mutes. And what's going on my hat? I can't. There we go. I muted the episode after 7 minutes. Some of you reached out. We had to take it down. I basically had a good, solid TVE. And at 7 minutes, my stupid finger hits this. It goes completely mute. I hope that that's not the case here. It better not be the case here. But you know what? I'm going to hit a button here and see if... Okay, yeah, see? I muted it last time. And the red light's not on now, which means you guys can hear me. So anyway, that's what happened. And you did not get one. So it's been a couple weeks. I am very, very sorry about that. And we're here now, though. We are here. As you guys know, you do not see my posters. You do not see my studio because I am in a hotel room here in Washington, D.C., one of my favorite cities. I will be performing here tomorrow night, which is Wednesday, October the 19th. And then this Thursday, the 20th, I am in Philadelphia. So that's what I am doing. I'm on the road promoting. I've been on radio stations, 2 in Philly yesterday, 1 in DC today, doing another one. And I cannot wait to bring my new hour to both Washington, DC and Philadelphia and meet the crowd, shake hands with the crowd, thank them for coming out. And that's it. I'm doing meet and greets. I'm not worried about COVID anymore. I know it's still out there, so don't give me shit. I just want to be with the fans, talk to the fans, and have a just have a great time interacting with audience members again. Speaking of that, I already said this on Anything Better when we did our NFL picks, but I have to personally, on the Virzi Effect podcast, I have to thank each and every one of you who came out to London. The love in London, over whatever that room holds, hundreds of people, standing room only, sold out. And we added one the next night. People came out to that. I cannot thank you guys enough. I heard great things about crowds in London, but then I got to live it. I got to meet you guys. I got to find out that some of you people flew from other countries, find out people drove hundreds and hundreds of miles, find out that people were traveling so much to see me and saying that it was worth it. You don't know what that means, how amazing that is to hear, and what it means to me. So thank you, thank you, thank you. London, you lived up to everything that you lived up to everything, man. You lived up to everything that I would hope and dream of. It was just incredible. It was really, really incredible. So thank you. And then we went to Paris. It was a great time. Taking my son to a Chelsea game. The day before, we went to see the New York Giants beat the Packers, which was just an add-on. It was so nuts. Even my wife, because my wife was just so into us being there as the Virzi family European vacation for 2022. And my wife is looking at the clock going like, I think, how much time is left? Can Rodgers beat us? Can Rodgers beat us? And the Giants just pulled that game off. We were in the Tottenham Stadium, which was amazing. And I took my son to see Chelsea the day before. and everyone's going, you got to keep them safe. You got to keep them safe. So you can't buy tickets by all these hooligans, whatever, by this section. And you can't let them sit near these people in this section. And you can't do this and you can't do that. And I'm just going, holy shit, I just want to watch the game with my son without him getting stabbed. And it was an absolute blast. I was talking on stage about how the old men, though, they curse. You know, they'll look and smile at a little boy, and they could tell it's his first game. Like, he won't forget that. Yeah. Kick it, you fucking cunt. Oh, because he's shit. That's why, isn't it? She's awful. He's awful. Have a good time there. Like, it was so ridiculous, so fun. Excuse the camera angle, by the way. This is a whole new thing. They got a weird desk here, but I figured I got to give you something. I hit mute on the last one. I got to give you one. I'm sorry. All right. Next week I'll be back in the studio with the guest in New York, but I had to give you something. Such a great experience. We went to France, and I'm not going to lie. The food was incredible, better than London, of course. The food was great. The wine was great. The hotel was great. Everything was good. People not even close to as nice. It's just a fact. I'm sorry. I heard that people in France could be a little more dickheads, and they were dickheads. My little girl ordered a burger, and she didn't want it red at all. She's a little girl. She didn't want to see red meat. She's like 10 years old. And I was like, yeah, can you just do well done, cooked through? And the lady was like, ugh. And I get it. I like a little red meat, but I'm an adult. Like, you don't do that to a little kid. I mean, what the fuck? You know, and they were a little more hustly. You know, they robbed me in a taxi, not literally, but like it was like an unmarked taxi, and they charged me like $90 to go from the train station to our hotel, which was right downtown. Then when I got in a taxi, I realized the price difference. So I got robbed a little bit. My wife gave me shit. She goes, Paul, you're from New York. You're supposed to be more street smart. I go, we got off the fucking train. A guy said taxi. You know, my wife and kids are tired. We're all tired. So I go, yeah, can you put 4 in the taxi? He goes, yeah. Then he walks us across the street to like this unmarked car and some kid who can't speak English driving it. And now I'm sitting in the passenger seat staring at this kid like I'm fucking Liam Neeson in the movie Taken. Because I'm like, if anything happens, I'm going to grab this kid by the throat, yell at my family to get out and meet me at the hotel. And then I'm in some action movie trying to get back to the hotel to my family. They're going to tie me up. I don't know what's happening, but that's all I'm thinking about. And then the kid got us there and took a little more money than he should have. But that happened. There was a little more shifty characters in Paris than London. I have to say it. They were a little more rude in Paris than London. You could feel it. They were just kind of like dicks. They were kind of dicks. And then when you find out about Napoleon and how he was kind of, you know, he seemed like he was kind of a dick. He seemed like he would be maybe like, you know, I don't know, a dick. I mean, it's funny. Maybe I ended up getting along with the guy. You know, he was 5. By the way, I learned about Napoleon. He was 5'7". So they said that England just shit on him and like talked about him like he was 5'4", but he was like 5'7.5". Like he wasn't that. You know, I'm only like an inch taller, and I'm not saying I'm tall. I'm like 5'8". So I'm an inch taller than Napoleon. But you know, I don't know. The French were kind of assholes in a way, and then but not the French that were not assholes. Does that make sense? Like the French people that were in our hotel, of course, they're in hospitality, but like they were above and beyond amazing. They referred me and my family to an Italian restaurant, which was one of the best Italian food meals we've ever had. The Indian food, I did try the Indian food in London, which was great. Other than that, the food in London was not as great. You know, you can definitely find places and spend some money. We went to a steakhouse. We went to an Indian restaurant that was like top notch. Other than that, though, I had some really shitty meals in London compared. But I'll take the people in London and the UK over the people in France any day of the week. And I'm just being honest from our experience. But the people that were in France that were good to us were good to us. And I don't know Napoleon, so maybe, you know, maybe I would have kicked it with him. I don't know, but they just had this little attitude about him. We went on some tours. My wife wanted to go on tours. We did all that stuff. But overall, the 8.5 days I spent in London and Paris, phenomenal, man. Phenomenal. I'm coming back to London. I'm coming back to perform in London because those people are fucking the best. The best. They're just fantastic people. And they're easy to talk to. They have good sense of humor. They were great. So the trip was great, and the Giants winning was definitely the cherry on top. Had a great time on the NFL Network. The whole trip was really good. Now, I want to get into something that's not very good, and that upsets me and gets me mad, and something that I have to rant about now. Okay, this is going to be the unacceptable for the week, and this is going to be something that I hope the Yankee fans that took part in this hear. All right, this message and this rant. All right, I'm going to try to do this without cursing so much because my mom doesn't like when I curse that much. My mom will say things like, "I love you, honey, and you're so talented and your special was so good. Can you just not curse as much?" And that's always in my ear. And maybe she's got a point, but it's hard when I'm going because I get really pissed off at things. So to my mom or anybody else listening to this that doesn't want to hear me curse, I'm going to try. There's going to be a couple in this, but I'm going to try. Okay. You stupid fucking Yankee fans that had the nerve and the audacity to boo Aaron Judge after he had a bad first two games of this series. Okay. And then, by the way, he comes back and hits a home run after that in this series. Okay. And walks in this series and things he's starting to get better in this series. But because he had a bad first and second game with a bunch of strikeouts, there's going to be spatterings of boos at Yankee Stadium after this man made you idiots stand up every time he was at the plate for about a month because he's chasing down history and he's doing it clean without steroids, which I believe. I really do believe it. I've seen all the guys that were on steroids. This guy was not on steroids. Okay. You can tell by the people. You could just tell with the Maris family. They're all over him. They're testing him like crazy. He's not the type. I just don't think he's doing it. And I think you're a hater. And I think you're just really not paying attention if you think he is, or you want to believe that maybe you've had pain your whole life. I don't know. Okay. Now, if it comes out that he did it after all of the testing and after all the shit and he went out of his way to cheat, then I'll come back on this podcast and I'll eat crow, hey, whatever, if I eat my hat, whatever the stupid terms are for that. I don't think he is. But let's get back to the point at hand here. You stupid assholes booed a guy that beat Roger Maris' record, the real home run record, okay, and the home run record of the American League, 62 home runs, okay, and he gave you one of the most exciting, best seasons ever, and you pieces of shit that booed don't deserve a season like that from a guy that bats, what, 130 something RBIs. He bats 314, which is unheard of in this era. Okay. For a guy to hit 62 home runs, bat 314, 130 something RBIs. You stupid assholes. Boo, with the fucking, with your dumb hot dog in your hand and beers in your fucking face. You're stupid. You're drunk and you just don't get it. You don't get it. You don't deserve to be a fan. No fan of baseball ever does that. Probably the same fucking morons that booed Derek. You're going to boo Aaron Judge after batting 314, 62 home runs and 130 something RBIs, make you stand up for a month during the season, and you're going to boo him because he had a bad first couple games after his emotional come down from giving you guys what you wanted to see. You don't deserve it. It's selfish, and you are dumb idiot fans who deserve him if he left. Seriously, if he left, you deserve it. I don't deserve it. And real Yankee fans don't deserve it, but you do deserve it, okay? Because it just goes to show how really you people are so stupid. You people are so fucking dumb to do something like that. To boo a guy that did that. By the way, not to mention, he's in a contract year, dude. He's in a contract year. He could leave. He could leave. You know what? A team in California could go, oh, we'll give him the money. He already got the record over there. He had a great year there. He had a great Yankee career. We'll give him the money now. And he could go, you know what, man? I don't need to go through everything I went through and hear booing by those dummies in the Bronx. He could do that. And it's one of those things where it's just really stupid, man. It's really stupid. And Mariano Rivera heard it and didn't like it. They booed Jeter when he was over 30. It's just dumb. I hate to say this. I love the Yankees. And I think New York sports fans are some of the best in the world. But there is a percentage. There's a small percentage of New York sports fans who are the dumbest assholes out there. And it's ridiculous. Shame on you. You don't deserve this guy in pinstripes. You are an absolute fucking dummy. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. They should have the same way they got people looking for people to fight and ban them. You should have guys go, did you just boo him? I'm not even joking. They should have people in the stadium go, wait a minute, did you just boo that guy? 62 home runs? Has the record? You booed him? Come on, get out. Get out. Give me your tickets. Get out. Get the fuck out. Go to Citi Field and go see that team. Go to a Nets game. Stupid pieces of shit. Fucking get me started now. And they're going to play tonight. They're playing tonight because there was a rain delay yesterday. So they're playing in a couple hours here. I'm going to watch the game and hopefully they move on. But even if they don't move on, and I'll tell you people something right now, if Aaron Judge strikes out 5 times today and makes 3 errors in the field, you know what? At the end of the season, I'll stand up and clap for him and say, thank you for giving the Yankees one of the greatest regular seasons in history. Okay. Now, not to mention, he did hit a game tying home run in this playoff series. Okay. And he's had some really good plays in the field in this playoff series. But to boo that guy is one of the most disrespectful and really stupid things. That's really what it comes down to, is stupid. Like, I can't believe I'm part of a fan base that would do something that stupid. And some of you people are going to, no, Paul, this is sport. You got to show up in the playoffs. It's 1 or 2 games, not to mention the first game that he struck out 3 times in. We won that game. So basically, he had 1 bad game in the playoffs that we lost. 1. And then he started coming around. So, like, what? Okay, so the guy had a couple of strikeouts in each of the games. I get that. He was definitely in a slump. He was not Aaron Judge. I get that. But I also get the emotional shit that he went through. So you're an asshole if you did it. You know who you are. If you're listening to this, you're an asshole. You're just an asshole. You're the guy at a barbecue who just says dumb things. You're just somebody that just can't be talked to. You're just an asshole. That's it. And there's no arguing it. I don't care what you say. Don't respond to it. You're just a dummy. You don't deserve it. You don't. I swear to God, when they booed Mariano Rivera, do you understand that booing Mariano Rivera was one of the most you could argue the most valuable Yankee since Babe Ruth, Mariano Rivera. Probably responsible for 3 out of our 5 World Series during the Derek Jeter career era, whatever you want to say. Probably responsible for 3 of the 5. And the guy had 2 bad games in a row as a relief pitcher, and they booed him. And they asked him at his locker. They go, did you hear that? And he's like, yeah, I'm not deaf. Just stupid. No, that's what you're good here. As if those stupid, fat, unathletic assholes eating donuts, drinking, as if they can go on the field and do anything, even remotely like that, without tripping all over themselves and puking on themselves. So that's that. Okay. I saw the new Halloween movie on Peacock. And here's the deal, man. Let's just get into, I'm in a mood. So now you guys know the Judge thing put me in a mood. I'm having a great time, a great day. I'm happy to be in DC. I had a great time in Europe. Everything is good. My cold is going away. I actually feel better. So it's just a Judge thing put me in a mood. But like, does Mike Myers need to be living in a sewer like he's a teenage mutant ninja turtle? Does Mike Myers have to be in the sewer living there? How's he eating? Can somebody ask me that how the kid is eating? All right, because he's in his 70s and he's got a burnt mask on. Well, I don't know why he's wearing a burnt mask down there in the first place. He's wearing a burnt mask and he's in the sewer like he's one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. How is he eating? Where is he getting food? All right. I mean, there was one thing where they said he was killing people in the park and dragging them in there. Where is he taking their sandwiches? Like I just don't understand it. So I didn't like that part of it. I didn't like how he possessed another guy and then he looked weak, but then he got strong again at the end. By the way, spoiler alert, I don't care anymore. Okay. And stop saying spoiler alert. I said this on Twitter and somebody was like, oh, Paul, thanks. I really wanted to watch it. Is there really a spoiler alert if it's a Mike Myers Halloween movie? How do you think it's going to end? Who's going to come out on top? You think Mike Myers is going to fucking drive off in the distance like it's the end of fucking Goodwill Hunting? Because he's got to go to a woman to tend to or whatever. No, it's going to be Mike Myers. He's going to either be burned, get his head cut off. In this case, he got put in a meat grinder, and Jamie Lee Curtis and her other daughter or whatever lived happily ever after. I mean, that's what happened. It's not a fucking spoiler alert. So stop with the spoiler alert on a horror movie that we've been watching since 1978. We've been watching a horror movie since 1970 or 1976, whenever it is. And people, really, Paul, I wanted to watch that. And all I simply said on Twitter was, I didn't, why is he living in a sewer? And basically what killed him was age. And that's what happened because he's basically in his 70s and the kid is living in a sewer with a burnt mask. That being said, I didn't hate it the way Halloween Kills was bad. The last one, last year's. I mean, that was bad. Evil Dies Tonight, and they're like rioting in a hospital, and they're like, I mean, that was a really, really bad movie. This one, I can't say it was a bad movie because at least it did have a story. Like I said, silly that he's in the sewer. How's he eating? I know that that's irrelevant. It was just, but this one actually was more of a storyline to follow. Some of the kills were good. It started off too slow. He wasn't involved as much as I wanted it to be. Is it worth the watch? I would say in this month before Halloween or leading up to October 31st, yes. Overall, a good horror movie? I would say probably not. I'd give it like a 6.5. But for a Halloween type time of year movie, maybe a 7.5, whatever. It entertained me, but it could have been much, much better. And I think with the standard being so low and the bar being so low from Halloween Kills last year, that's another thing too. So that being said, whatever, it's better, enjoy it. But those are that's what I'd have to say about that. So I just love fun horror movies around this time of year. So I give a little more lenience. The Virzi effect gives a little bit of lenience on silly horror movies during the horror movie month, which is October, which I love. So there you go. Haven't seen really anything else. I'm trying to see if there was any documentaries. I did see what is it? The Cooper? Was it the guy who jumped out of a plane with the money? The Cooper, DB Cooper or whatever. I watched that. I think I'm saying it right or wrong. I don't know, but I watched that documentary. That was really interesting. I don't know if you're jumping out of a 30,000, in a storm over the forest, if you're going to really live. I mean, who knows? But that was really an interesting one that I liked. And yeah, and then I saw Halloween, and that's pretty much it. Just been traveling, watching my New York Giants do well, 5-1. It's the defense. I love it. They're starting to make me look like I knew what I was talking about. I'm a year late though. I understand that. But that's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much it. And now I am here getting ready for my shows in DC and in Philadelphia. If any of you guys are there or know somebody there, tell them to come to a show. I'm doing a completely new hour. I'm doing a Yeah, it's a completely new hour from the special. So you can watch my Netflix special, Nocturnal Admissions, which right now is streaming on Netflix. And then you can go to the show tomorrow night in DC or Thursday night in Philly and see totally different material. So that's that. What else did I want to talk about? What else do I want to catch up? I'm just because I forgot what the episode that I was talking about and it didn't record. And I had a bunch of stuff on that and I totally forgot. And then I had to get on an airplane. We flew to Virgin Atlantic to London from New York was fantastic. And then Air France from Paris to New York was good. I felt like the seats on Air France might have been maybe a little more roomy, but I felt like the flight and the setup on Virgin Atlantic was better. But the food on Air France, not that you expect good food, but the food on Air France was horrible compared to the food on Virgin Atlantic. And Virgin Atlantic, right when you got on the plane, they're throwing Prosecco, they're throwing champagne down your throat. And Air France, they like wait, and then when lunch comes, you get like a choice of something. It was just, whatever. For when you spend money on a premier seat on an airline, when I walk on the airplane, I want you to dump a bottle of fucking champagne on my head like I just won an NBA championship. That's what I want. When I step foot on the airplane, start spraying me like we just celebrated and won something. That's what I want. All right, take a fistful of salmon, slap it on my forehead. Slap it on my forehead. Let's start throwing bottles of champagne around. Let's light a cigar. Tell everybody the smoke will be gone by the time we take off. That's what the fuck I'm paying for. Not some shitty, option when lunch comes. I'm pissed off about the judge thing, guys. But then on my way back from Paris, I was a little bit under the weather. And I was kind of sick for a few days, so I had to kind of get myself up to get ready to do these shows and promotion and all that stuff. And now the stress continues because the Yankees got to win Game 5. I don't know why I care about sports, but you just watch and you root, and that's what you want to do. I said on radio today in DC, though, one thing I learned some things when I was in London and France, but the one thing I learned in London is that Queen Elizabeth was great. Rest her soul. We got to see her resting place at Windsor Castle. We went to Windsor Castle. We went to Stonehenge. We went to Bath, which is this old Roman type city in it's called, obviously it's Bath in England. We went to had a weird thing happen at an old bar in Laycock. Did I say that right? Went to this old pub from 1361 called the George Inn at Wadworth. It was wild. And yeah, our hotel was great, drinking and stuff. But I got to tell you something, when you talk to people there, you find out how everybody wanted to see the Queen. The Queen was very fair from what I heard, good person from what I heard. That Snoop Dogg story where Snoop was banned from London or England. They said, you can't come back. And the Queen was like, no, yes, he can. He did nothing wrong. And I just talked to people. You talk to Uber drivers, you talk to tour guides, you talk to everybody. And the Queen was at the highest regard, like the best run Queen ever and all that stuff. And then there were obviously some things said about other members, but the Queen was incredible. So it was great and they opened that to the public only for 4 days when we were there. So that's one thing I learned. So may she rest in peace. And I can tell you guys this, and anybody listening to this that went to my show in London, not only do I thank you again, but I'm coming back, man. I'm coming back, and thank you for the food recommendation, because the steakhouse was good and the Indian restaurant was good. So I learned England, you have to really pick and choose, because it's not like France, where everywhere you go in France, I mean, France, like a bad bottle of wine was like one of the best bottles of wine you'll ever. I mean, France was. I mean, Paris. I went to this Italian restaurant. And you know, when you order Italian food and you order like you'll order a chicken cutlet or a veal cutlet or eggplant, and they always give you a side of pasta. Well, the side of linguine that I got with my dish was like one of the most delicious linguinis I've ever had in my life. And then they had a drink there. Okay. If you're listening to this and you're in Paris, go to a restaurant called Lino. It's my favorite restaurant in Paris that we went to, and I'll never not. I wanted to go again. And after the meal, okay, and this is, and I'll wrap this up soon, but after the meal, I said to my wife, let's go again. And she's like, well, we're only here for a certain amount of time, a certain amount of meals. And I was like, this is incredible. Now, I was never big on tiramisu. Okay. The dessert tiramisu, I was never big on it. But then I had a couple of really good ones here in the States. And I was like, oh, I like tiramisu when it's like done good and it doesn't taste like that shitty artificial liquor taste, like when it's fresh and light. We go to this place and I go, is it tiramisu? He's like, tiramisu's huge though. It's good. He said, it's the best in Paris. You got to try it. It was big. Me and my wife split it. And then they gave us this amaretto drink that they recommended, that they gave us for free. He was like, just try this. And it was like the tiramisu we were eating, but in a liquid form. It was, my wife and I could not believe what we were drinking. And all I wanted to do was keep going back there. So it's in downtown Paris. It's called Lino, Lino. And it was incredible. It was incredible. Then the second night we went to eat, we were excited because Lino was so good. The Italian food was so good. So we go to this French cuisine place. And guys, I'm not making this up and I'm not trying to be gross. Our waiter smelled so bad. Okay. And I had this amazing piece of duck. I had this duck that was like with pie crust around it, and they cut it in half and they dumped gravy over it. It was absolutely, it was fucking insane. It was incredible shit. Okay. And I couldn't enjoy it because our waiter was so potent that my kids couldn't believe it. I had to stick my face in my wine glass just to smell that when he was there. When he came over, I had to turn my head. It was one of the most, it was literally Pepe Le Pew was our waiter, but like a skunk smell would have been more pleasant than this stinky bastard. It was absolutely one of the most horrific things. I saw him go up to a table of French people, and I even saw one French guy. I was just like, you could tell. It was one of the most ridiculous. This guy should have not only been sent home to shower, they should have taken him out back and sprayed him down with a fire hose like Brian Fantana in Anchorman when he put on Sex Panther. How's that for a reference? It was absolutely it was one of the most ridiculous smelling. I couldn't believe that they allowed a man to walk around like that. There was a little bit of that in France too. There was a little bit of like the smelly, that's some shit. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. So I know somebody in front, fuck him. Listen, it is what it is. Okay. I don't care. You can say what you want about the food in London. The people there don't stink like that unless they're homeless and been on the street without a shower for 9 months. You people are working in restaurants. You gotta just, put some deodorant on. You gotta cologne up. You gotta cologne up. So that was a little bit of a downer. And then the last night, we had a nice dinner at a cafe, and then we went over to the Eiffel Tower, and that was that. So it was all good. Some cool stuff going on, guys. We're going to announce a 2023 tour. Some places I've been before, some new places. Looks like I'm going to be coming to Toronto. Looks like I'll be coming to Toronto. We're just trying to decide if it's going to be the very end of this year or the very beginning of next year. That's coming. There's going to be some new states and some of the other places that I've been to work the new hour. So announcements on those dates will be coming soon. And that's it. That's it. I'm getting ready for this game. I'm chilling. Come see me in DC tomorrow night, the 19th of October. And then the next night, October 20th at the Philadelphia Punchline. You guys are the best. Thank you guys for listening. Check out the Virzi Effect every week. Get the Virzi Effect every week where you get all your podcasts, Spotify, iTunes. Tell a friend. Next week, we're going to be back in the studio with some guests. And cannot wait for you guys to hear that. The show keeps growing. Thank you. Check out the Anything Better podcast with myself and Bill Burr. We're doing our Bet MGM picks for football. And there you go. That's it. Until next time, I am out of here. You guys are the best. Let's go, Yankees. Do not boo Aaron Judge ever again.